This is the Espresso Display 15. Coming in at 0.2 inches, it could very well be the world's thinnest external monitor. Paired with a bunch of software features and a unique flexible stand, it makes for a pretty interesting portable monitor for anyone who needs to work on the move. But it does have some quirks. First, a quick disclosure. This video is sponsored by Espresso Displays, but they have agreed for me to test out the display and say whatever I want. So that means they have no input in the making of this video, and I'll try to stay as objective as possible. But in the interest of full disclosure, this video is sponsored. Alright, this is the Display 15 non-touch model that I've been testing, which is Espresso's latest model. And there are definitely a few things that stood out to me immediately when I took it out of the box. How thin and lightweight the display was, and the build quality. Measuring in at 0.2 inches, it's just barely bigger than the USB-C ports on the side. Now, the trade-off to such a thin display is that it has a pretty sizable chin on the bottom of the device, but to be honest, I don't think it's that big of a deal just because the laptop screen can easily cover the chin if you're using the display with the Stand Plus, and I'll talk a bit more about that a little later. The display comes in just bigger than the 16-inch MacBook Pro, but it's still pretty easy to transport the two of them together. Especially because it only weighs 765 grams or 1.68 pounds, which is insanely lightweight. Design-wise, the Display 15 has a pretty minimalistic design. There's no buttons anywhere on the display, just an aluminium unibody design and two USB-C ports on the side. It does feel really premium, especially compared to a lot of the other displays on the market, which tend to be a lot chunkier and use cheaper plastic materials. Plugging in a computer via the USB-C port powers on the display. There's also a second USB-C port that you can use with a power bank to power on the display, and it'll also pass through power to your laptop. But I think what's unique about Espresso's approach to creating a portable display is their companion software. And I think their software shows that they're paying attention to the barriers that you might run into while using a portable display, and they've come up with some pretty awesome features to streamline that workflow. So the software is called Espresso Flow. You can download this off their website, and there's three main components to the software which all focus on speed. The first component is Glide, and this will arrange your monitors automatically. So when you switch this on, it runs in the background, and basically it will detect whenever you move your cursor to the edge of the screen, and it will arrange your monitor there automatically. I think this is a particularly useful feature for a portable display because you're setting it up in different spots and configurations all the time depending on where you're working. So rather than having to open up your settings and manually arrange your monitors each time, Glide just lets you set up and start using the portable monitors straight away. Along that same line of thinking, Espresso Flow also has a component called Workspaces. This lets you assign apps to different workspaces, and by activating these workspaces, Espresso Flow will launch your apps and arrange the windows into position. So for instance, if I'm taking notes, I know I'll want to have a bit of music playing in the background as well as Notion. So I can assign Notion and Spotify to open on my primary monitor and use my secondary monitor for reference documents. Or in a video editing workflow, I might want to have DaVinci Resolve opened on my main monitor with my notes and a Finder window opened on my secondary monitor. I really like this. I think it's a really great way to get your apps up and running as fast as possible. But this part of the software does have two strange quirks. First, it gets a bit confused when it's dealing with apps that have pop-ups because the pop-ups become the main focus window. So Espresso Flow isn't able to arrange the apps where it's meant to. You can get around this by closing your pop-ups and activating the workspaces again, which will arrange the windows where they're meant to be. Overall though, I'd still say it's faster than manually launching apps. The second and bigger issue that I've run into though is when I already have windows from the app open in other spaces. So if you have other web browser windows open in other spaces, Espresso Flow will activate the window and move you to a different space, which then just causes all the windows to be open in the wrong place. I've spoken to Espresso Displays about this, so they are aware of the issue, but for now, I don't recommend using this function with a web browser. Alright, the last component of Espresso Flow is Snap. And this lets you assign keyboard shortcuts which will snap the windows to pre-assigned areas. This is nothing window users aren't familiar with. They've had window management features for a long time. But this is something macOS still lacks, so this will be a welcome feature for Mac users. Inside the box, the Display 15 comes packaged with a new stand that Espresso has just developed, which they call the Stand Plus. Now, a huge benefit of the display being so lightweight is that they're able to develop a stand that's stable without being too heavy. So the stand only weighs 560 grams or 1.23 pounds, and it attaches to the display magnetically. The area that the magnets can attach to is pretty big, so it's quite forgiving. Like, you're not going to drop the monitor if you miss the center of the magnets, but it is way stronger in the center, so much so that I can very comfortably shake the stand without the monitor slipping off. And a huge benefit to this sort of mounting system is that it's really easy to rotate your monitor if you want vertical screen real estate instead. The monitor also has a built-in gyroscope, so it will automatically rotate your image as well. There's also magnets built into the top for some of Espresso's other accessories, and they're actually strong enough to attach the display onto my bookshelf. I probably wouldn't recommend using it this way, but it does look pretty cool. But the big change they've made to this Plus stand is the inclusion of this extra fold-out section, which lets you get a bit of extra height. Meaning you can now position the Display 15 above a sitting laptop, which I think makes a lot of sense. I think this position feels a lot more natural. The monitor is actually at my eye level when I'm sitting down, but I think it also makes a lot of sense space-wise. If I'm working solo at a coffee shop on a smaller table, the table is probably not going to be big enough to set up a monitor next to a laptop, but there's usually space behind, so it makes a lot of sense to set up the display there. Plus, it also means I have my keyboard and mouse in front of me rather than to the side. The stand itself has a solid metal construction with some silicone padding on the top plate to protect the display, as well as some silicone on the base to stop the stand from slipping. The hinges themselves are pretty nicely tuned. It takes a decent amount of effort to fold the stand, not enough to make it hard to unfold, but enough to keep the stand in place with the Display 15 attached. Alright, let's talk power consumption. I've primarily been testing the display with the M1 Pro MacBook Pro because it's my most power efficient machine. And I definitely recommend pairing the Display 15 with an energy efficient machine just because you can power it off a single USB-C cable. And even though you can use the second USB-C port with an external power bank, I would only use this as a last resort just to keep the setup as compact as possible. Plugging the display into a fully charged M1 Pro MacBook Pro, the Espresso Flow software tells me I'm getting about 5 hours of battery life, and I found that that's about right. So it doesn't use too much power and it's been enough for me to get by. Spec-wise, the Display 15 is a 15.6-inch display with a peak brightness of 300 nits. The display itself has a gloss finish, which is my personal preference just because the colors have a real nice pop to them, but it does mean that the glare might be an issue if you're working in brighter environments. According to the Datacolor Spider X Pro, the Display 15 is able to output 100% of the sRGB color gamut, so it can be used for digital art. But I wouldn't recommend it for print where ARGB is a more popular color space. If color accuracy is a super important factor for you, I'd still recommend calibrating the display. The Spider X Pro suggests that the image should be slightly warmer post-calibration. Now, I'd say the resolution is probably the weakest aspect of the Display 15. Coming in at 1920 by 1080, I've noticed that text can look a little soft around the edges if you're looking very closely. Strangely enough, when I first started testing the monitor, the soft text was actually a lot worse. Like, text was noticeably blurry around the edges, but after playing around with Espresso Flow and realizing there were additional settings available, selecting the normal scaling settings seemed to improve the sharpness dramatically. I'm not quite sure what the default behavior is, neither normal or large was selected in the settings initially, and I can't seem to make it go back. But if anyone ends up having this problem, I recommend checking this setting out. Alright, lastly, I want to talk about the price because honestly speaking, this is not a cheap option. But having used a couple external monitors, this really is a completely different type of display. Whereas a lot of the competition compete on price, they're made of cheaper plastics and they tend to be a lot thicker, sometimes twice as thick, so they end up being pretty bulky. So for the extra money, you get a really portable display that looks great, with some flexible mounting options and some software integrations that actually do speed up your workflow. Whether or not that's worth it for you and your workflow, I'll have to leave up to you guys, but I think it's a pretty compelling package, especially if you're someone who needs to work on the move. Alright, let me know what you guys think about the display in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. That's it. I'll see you guys next time.